Welcome to another episode of Day One Radio right here on Live Hip Hop Daily. We appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all listening through our partners at CLNS Media. Y'all been doing real well. Listen to the old shows, the new shows. Make sure that y'all subscribe, rate, and review on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you get your podcasts. And as you see, my brother Maurice Garland is not here with us today, but we're going to keep the party rocking. And we got, one of the most prolific songwriters in history in the building, turned artist. 350 million records sold, a bunch of Grammys, written for 112, Usher, Bieber, the Rolling Stones, Kelly Price. Got to mention that because, she started off writing for a lot of people. So when you write for a writer, you kind of raw. Jagged Edge, Mariah Carey, and a bunch of other people, man. We got Pooh Bear in the building, man. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Where did that come from? How did you start greeting people with happy birthday?
It really honestly came from me being really shy. Okay. And it was a great icebreaker. And it just allowed me to be weird immediately. And that way, like, if you're weird or unique, then you should feel comfortable because I'm like, I don't care about what people think.
Right.
And then it turned into, different things like, when you wake up in the morning, you guys feel like it's your birthday so you can embody that and feel great and treat every day like it's your birthday.
Okay, for sure, most definitely. So it's funny, like most artists that you hear about when they talk about their origin story, how they first got interested in music, they always say they wanted to be a rapper, a DJ, artist, or whatever. You actually wanted to be a songwriter. Like, how did that even pop up in your brain?
It popped up in my brain. I came from a strict family, like a religious family, and when my parents were still together, we weren't allowed to listen to secular music. So I was, I used to sneak and listen to Stevie Wonder at night. I just called to say I love you. And Stevie Wonder inspired me. Like, I wanted to make songs that made people feel the way he made me feel by listening to his music. And I could say that's where the idea came from, knowing that, he is the greatest songwriter. And it just inspired me. I'm like, you know what, I want to do that. I want to really make people feel the way I feel when I hear this music.
That's crazy because I feel like nowadays, unless you got title, people don't even know who writes songs.
No, yeah. Well, they just now started on Spotify recently, putting the credit. So,
good.
Like, it's kind of important. You know what I mean? Yeah, where it actually comes from. Like,
super
it's like,
important.
Yeah,
man.
like it's like getting a Heinz ketchup without the ingredients.
Yeah, it's like, you don't know
what's in here. Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I need to know.
Exactly, for sure. So, for you, man, you born in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Moved to Atlanta at a young age. You came to Atlanta when Atlanta really first started popping musically. Yeah. So what was some of the things that you saw, especially because that was a time that you could actually listen to what you wanted to listen to?
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely.
So how did that kind of affect you?
Just coming to Atlanta, moving to College Park at age 9. It was surreal just because up north there really wasn't any kid groups out, or it wasn't any kids that I could look up to and aspire to be. So when I moved to Atlanta, it was like Another Bad Creation and Crisscross and High Five. All these things were actually in our face in Atlanta. So for me, I was like, oh wow, I'm 9, I'm 10, but Lil Dave was 8. You know what I'm saying, from ABC. So I'm like, I could actually be in the music business, and that inspired me to start finding little kids in my neighborhood and put together a dance group first. And then that turned into, one of the parents, I guess, saw dollar signs, so they tried to manage us and brought us to Keep Sweat's manager, Lonnie Ferguson, Louise Ferguson. And then that turned into another group, and then 8 groups later, I was in a group called Young Harmony. I was 12. Wow. Signed my first record deal when I was 12. And the whole while I was writing the songs, and always had, my vision was to be a songwriter, but I also, saw that, this can pop off as me being an artist as well. And then, over time, it got more back in about the songwriting once my cousin opened my eyes and allowed me to see that I can make a living and take care of my family off of writing, that became more of a focal point.
Right. Was your mom's supportive of the dream?
She was, man, because she used to drive me to the studio, man, in that old brown Lincoln, man. I remember always driving me and my group to the studio. She used to always be like, do you think you'll ever sing Christian music? And I'm like, you know what? I'm probably one day I'll end up singing Christian music, Right. And but she was definitely supportive of it. And you know, she, like I said, man, she brought me to so many shows and talent shows and studio sessions. She had my back, you know, coming up, and that was my inspiration also, was knowing like I gotta be there to be able to, you know, take care of my mom and take care of my family, and that was my drive. So.
Right. Now you said your cousin kind of put you up on game as far as knowing that you can make money writing music. What was the first song that you ever sold to anybody?
Man, it was a song that I actually co-wrote with Duran and Q, titled Anywhere. We could do it anywhere. And I didn't even know I was gonna get paid from actually a part of the creative process.
Oh wow.
And at the same time, it was a song by Pink called Love Is Such a Crazy Thing. And I just remember my cousin and the accountant at the time, Jennifer Smash, saying sending your invoice, and I'm like, what's that? What's an invoice? Yeah, what is that? And then they're like, oh, and I remember Kira, my cousin's twin sister, doing an invoice for me, and it was like for $1,500, and I was 16, yeah, so it was like, wow. And that wasn't even the money that he was talking about. That was just like
that was
a part of a producer fee, writer fee that, you know, they were like, no, you have to get something. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But he was speaking of like the publishing and, you know, the being able to build enough catalog to go and do a publishing deal and everything. So, you know, he's the one that told me, like, you can make money doing this, and I'm gonna put you at 112, and if they like you, then maybe they'll continue to work with you. And we came up with Anywhere in Duran's house. And from there, we just built a relationship. I clicked with Duran, and that kept going to part 3 with, you know, Peaches and Cream and Dance With Me and all those records I was blessed to be a part of. And really, honestly, I'm like extremely grateful for my cousin giving me the opportunity, because I kind of, you know, I don't know, I might have had to go to college, you know, if I didn't had the opportunity to be a writer, you know, so. Yeah, I think
from everything that I've like seen and heard about you, you seem to be like a super humble dude, super gracious dude. Like, how have you been able to maintain and not get caught up, being that you've had a success from such a young age?
I think, man, honestly, I think humble is just like, it's just who you are. You're either humble or you're not, you know, and I feel like it's a lot of, I mean, some people are great at, you know, acting and pretending to be humble. True. But for me,
it's a lot of fake humble out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fake, and it's, you know, you'll see it in the award shows, and they're like, oh, you know, I just want to thank God, and I want to, you know, their voice change, it go up a little, it go up a key, As soon as it might come up, like, man, forget that, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, for me, it's always been, I just look at everything as a blessing, man, and I just know that it doesn't have to be like this. Like, it could be really bad, and I just really don't take it for granted. And I'm like, my past and where I come from, it doesn't allow me to just say, like, you know, this is the way it's supposed to be, you know what I mean? Because people who have that cocky mindset, they feel like they feel like the world owes them.
Sense of entitlement.
Yeah. So for me, I always feel like I worked hard for this, and I appreciate it, and I'm overwhelmed. Like, every time I'm working on a new Bieber project or, you know, Mariah Carey, every time I get those opportunities, I feel like a kid. I feel like blessed, and I feel like, because I always like, well, I'm grateful to be able to work with them. They're gonna go on and work with the next writer now, and then when they come back to me, I'm like, really? So it's like still a surprise, because I don't expect them to be loyal, or not even be loyal, but I just expect people to move on like they always do. So, you know, with that being said, I think that I always look at it like from a place of like, I'm not looking like down on anybody. I'm always looking at like, wow, really, you want to work with me again? And I really genuinely mean that. And it's just like, it's just a big deal for me. And I never want to feel like I made it, man. Like, I'll never want to wake up and be like, look around and be like, yo, I really did it. I don't think I'll ever get that feeling naturally. And even if I started to feel like that, I think I have an automatic, you know, blocker that just allows me to just be like, no, I'm just blessed. And what is making it? What does I made it mean? You know what I mean? Because there's so many different perspectives of making it. And I keep that mindset. So it's like, whenever I accomplish anything, I'm just like, thank God. And like, I'm blessed. I can't believe I'm here. But it's never like, yeah, man, I told y'all, you know what I mean? Because I didn't really tell anybody. I just knew inside that if I kept working, then there was a chance that I could be able to take care of my family. And that was always the goal, was just to be able to take care of my family.
So I know you said you was cool with being an artist, but you ain't necessarily want to be a singer per se.
Nah, man. Just because I look at my friends that are singers, it comes with so much of a responsibility that it's like you become a slave to it. And, it's something that you commit to, and you have to be committed. And you miss one radio event, you miss one thing, and it's done. You're done. So, like, for me, being a curator, singing on some of the music that I put out, but more so being a curator and putting records that I've written and co-written with my friends and my artist friends, to be able to deliver that music, it takes me out of the focal point, because I never really wanted to be famous. Like, that was never my desire as a kid. Like, man, I want to be famous. I just want to be able to take care of my family. And putting out music now, it's like, even when, speaking to different labels, I'm like, I don't want to be a singer. And they're like, wow, you sing. And even my friends are like, yo, you sing amazing.
Yeah, like, you got a good voice.
Thank you. It's just that I know the responsibility that comes along with it. And I see how my friends, there's days when, they be like, what, I don't want to do this anymore. And it'll cost, millions of dollars to just be like, I'm just tired. I've been touring for 18 months now. And I see that, and I'm like, I have a chance to decide, like, whether I want to commit to do that or try to create a whole new lane and a new avenue where if I wanted to do that, yeah, I'll do a show if I want to, but I'm not obligated to. Now I gotta hit the road, So I want to create a new lane, and I want to be the first writer to do this.
It's funny you say that, because I feel like in order to be an artist, like, you gotta legitimately love it. Because it's like, that's like, I don't think people really understand, because we just go to one or two shows.
Right.
But this person is on the road. Like, that's
singing
work.
the same song.
Singing the same songs.
Yeah.
Not being in their bed, being away from their family.
Yeah.
Like, that's work. Even
work.
if you love it, it's work.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I love music. I don't love singing, even though I made it to, a vocal place where I actually don't mind hearing myself now. As a long time, I didn't want to hear myself, but
I wish I had your voice.
But it's one of those things where you have to love it. You got to love
100%.
singing. You got to love rapping. You got to love the whole engagement of the people and everything. And even after loving it, it has to be even a step more. You have to be in love with it, I believe, because that's when you're willing to not give up the commitment. When you're in love with something, it's like loving something is cool, but you can get tired of loving something.
Very true.
Really being in love with it is like, you know what, I'm gonna go do this, even if I don't feel like doing it, because it's my passion, it's my dream. And for me, I never really looked at singing like that. It was just something that I wanted to be able to do, but I didn't want it to be like a slave to it. And that's what this music business, it turns you into. It's great, it pays great, but you sacrifice your life. You sacrifice your personal space. You belong to the world. You no longer belong to, people that you want to belong to.
It's kind of like fame in a nutshell.
It is. It's like, all right, now you get all this money. Here's everything. Now we want all of you.
Yeah.
It's
a trade-off.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. And then you look up, it could drive you crazy, or you can make it through it, or you end up having success, and then you look up and you working at Burger King, which is another thing
it's hard to go back to regular life.
It's hard to get back in that real life. So for me, I'm like, no, I never really want to do that, man. I mean, when I was younger, I did, but it was more so just to take care of my family. And once my cousin opened my eyes to see, like, you can make money like this, I was like, I'd rather do that and be in the background, and I could go out. Nobody's coming up to me, because I like the fact that nobody knows who I am. Like, I think it's really cool.
You can go to the mall, hang out with your family.
Yeah, like, I can imagine people coming up to me now. I'm like, I take a picture. I'm like, you might have the wrong person. And like, no, you're Pooh Bear. Right. And I'm like, all right, I'll take a picture. But even that is like a little bit invasive. It's like, I can imagine my little brother.
Like my outfit for the day.
Exactly, exactly. Or maybe I got some flyaways in my ponytail. I didn't brush my hair hard enough.
Right. Yeah. What is the story behind the ponytail? Because I know it's got.
Because I won't let it go, huh? Well, you know what it is. I got my first ponytail at the age 13, and I didn't know my hair was wavy like this. Cause you know when you just like
That's such a black statement.
it is though, cause like until you like brush it with some water
Right.
and lock it in with some Pro Style. Pro Style, I'm gonna give a shout out to Pro Style Jail for holding me down for all these years. You know, I didn't know. So once the what was her name? Was it Tawana? Tawana put my hair in a ponytail. Tawana, sorry, there's a difference. Tawana put my hair in a ponytail. I looked and I was like, whoa, I got waves. I couldn't let it go. And then when you go out in public and you got everybody like, man, your waves is crazy. That shit just inspire you to hold on. And then when I got braids, I felt like Not the Mama. Remember that the dinosaurs? Not the Mama with the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
I felt like that. So it was like, and I looked like a thug and a killer when I had braids.
What you saying? That's not me.
Yeah, so I
Right.
went through my braid phase for a week or two, and the ponytail was like,
That didn't work.
oh, he's so cute. And that's what, you know what I'm saying? And now you hear that enough, I'm like, man, I'm gonna hold on. Even when I'm receding and everything, I'm just gonna hold on and fight.
Hey,
Hold
man.
on, try to figure it out. Get
Okay,
that LeBron special.
Hilarious.
You know what I mean?
So
The little
hilarious.
things, you know what I'm saying?
Hilarious.
Fill it in.
You dropped your first project on SoundCloud, was it about 3 years ago, right?
I would say 2011, Beats to Break Up To.
That was 2011?
2011,
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, you know what? 2012.
Okay.
It was a single. It was on the radio called Alone.
Right.
And I just did that because Ebro from New York, a friend of mine.
Really from the Bay.
We really from the Bay.
Really from the Bay,
But he
right.
went over and took over New York radio. And he was like, yo, you need to sing. Because I was off singing. I'm like, and I'm thinking like, damn, here's a program director
Right.
of the #1 station in America
Right.
telling me I need to sing. So I'm like, maybe he might give me support. So he came up with the concept, Beats to Break Up To. He was like, why don't you just take a bunch of break beats and write one idea album all about breakup. And I had just went through a breakup with my ex-fiance. So it was easy because I was just spewing out real, like everything was so
life.
honest. Yeah. And then from there, I was like, man, I could do a whole series. Beats to Break Up To, Beats to Make Love To,
Right.
Beats to Make Up To,
Right.
Beats to Wake Up To. You know, but they're all, back in the day, people really thought out albums and they were one
Concept.
idea.
Right.
Yeah, and you just supported it. So I just wanted to bring it back and do something clever and do one idea albums, but it was for fun. That's
Yeah.
why I put it on SoundCloud, because it was
Right.
just like, I just want to get it out.
So when you did all of that, did you foresee dropping a real legitimate
No,
album?
no way,
Never.
no, because I was just doing it for fun, and Ebro was like pushing me and supporting me, and it was just like, there you go. I was kind of doing it for him. I was like, there you go. I did this album that you told me I should do, but I never saw like me in the future putting out a album where I curated music and records that I created. Definitely, that was something that came about a year ago. I'm just thinking like, man, I got these great songs that are sitting here in the music abyss, is what I call it.
The music a bit.
Yeah, because no human knows they exist.
On these hard drives.
Yeah, on these hard drives. And I was like thinking like, man, what if I could put some new records with these records, finish them, maybe add a feature and just become this curator of music that puts out music once a year like a birthday. And, you know, I talked to, Scooter about it. He thought it was a great idea. I talked to No Idea about it. He thought it was an amazing idea. And I can't believe it. I was able to pull it off, with J Balvin and Zara Larson, the people that I got clearances for on my album. It's just God, man, just because, they don't just give clearances out like that.
You done sold a lot of people a lot of records.
I know.
You
See how I don't
right,
look at it like
got
that.
you.
That's
man.
that humble, that's that honest humble.
That's how it should be, though.
Yeah, where I'm like, wow, but then they'll be like, what do you mean you just wrote my whole album, or you know what I mean, you just wrote my biggest record, my first #1. I don't think about that. I'm thinking like, I'm me. I'm like this songwriter, and I can't believe you're actually letting me use your voice on my album. So
You kind of for, I guess, really outside of hip hop and maybe like outside of like what Carlos Santana did like 10, 15 years ago, you kind of did something we really haven't seen with how you, like you said, you curated an album, a bunch of different genres.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just a feel.
Yep.
So have you been satisfied with the reception thus far?
You know what? For what it is, it's been great. The reception's been great. Now I'm just now starting to really push songs to the radio.
Okay.
And do radio promotions, and most people do it the other way. You
Right.
know, they get a radio hit, then they do, and then they like wait on their first week of sales.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I care, but I'm like, I want to put out the music so it's out. Then let's see what people are, connecting with, gravitating to, and from there I was able, to meet with Motown, and he was able to give me a, like, this is the one, this is the songs that these people love, and I was like, cool, let's go for it. And the response has been good, and for what I've heard, I guess it's getting a lot better traction than what is normal or typical. And it's just a blessing, man, because I really just wanted to, in the beginning of it, I just wanted to put out music. It wasn't about going to radio or all that extra stuff. I just wanted to have an outlet for people to hear music that they probably would have never heard before. And it was great. It's not like I put out, trash records. They just didn't make it on that artist's album for whatever reason.
Right.
And but now that we're actually making traction and going to radio, and it's a blessing, and it's cool to see it unfolding, and it's just really cool to be a part of it, man. Honestly.
Now that you said that you're gonna drop something every year around the same time, do you feel any pressure at all?
I don't feel pressure because, I mean, honestly, man, I write about 650 songs a year.
Wow.
So
that's a lot.
It's not really pressure, more so than it is figuring out the window of like, all right, when have we exhausted? I want to push these records as much as they can go, and then hopefully, thank God it came out. At first, it was going to come out in 2017. So the fact that it came out in 2018, it bought me more time to get to 2019.
Gotcha.
So it's cool. I was going to be under pressure if it came out in December when it was supposed to, but that came off of me. And yeah, man. And now I'm definitely like, it's something to look forward to, just to be able to, just to see if I could pull it off again, and it's gonna be cool to see, how people, and the fact that this stuff is going to the radio, it's gonna give people a real fair chance to hear the music and say whether they like it or not, because I care if they love it or not. And before, without the radio and without certain outlets, it's kind of like people just don't know that it exists. So yeah, man, that's the goal. Every year, like a birthday, drop an album.
Gotcha. Switching gears a little bit, man. I see on social, like, you post your son a lot, man. How has fatherhood kind of changed your life?
Well, I honestly just waited to post any pictures until he turned 1. He just turned 1 on June 1st. And I just wanted to do that just so I could have him to myself for a year. You know what I'm saying? Sense. And my wife, she was, moms are proud. So
of course.
I was like, post as many pictures or whatever. But for me, I just wanted to have them for myself. And being a father is amazing. It's tough waking up in the morning, but it's a program now, so I might go to bed at 10:45, man. I remember going in the studio at 10:45 at night to start a job. So that's one of those things that's different, is my time, my schedule is completely upside down. But just watching my son walk, and talk and play the piano and
already.
Yeah, mimic notes and be able to do, it's just fascinating to know that, we could just create little people like that. I never, for me, I'm 38, I'm older, so I never really, I made it to an age where I was like, maybe I'm not gonna have kids, and then bam, me and my wife have a kid. So,
were there any musical people in your family before you?
I can't really say. I know my Uncle Ronnie and my Uncle Donnie played drum congos, and my grandma would hum around the house, like hum around the apartment. She would just, hum church music,
Gotcha.
But no real musicians, like singers or artists, more so just like drummers, man. So I kind of pulled mine out of thin air because my dad's tone deaf. My mama has an ear because we used to harmonize when I was a kid, but she couldn't sing, but she could harmonize.
Gotcha.
So I definitely couldn't sing when I was younger, and I just kept working and got to a place where once you're honest with yourself, then you can grow. When you can say, I suck, it allows yourself to know that I can get better. I'm going to work to get better, where I can be honest and say, I genuinely love that. I don't just love it because it came from me. And
Right.
I put that, I apply that concept with songwriting. I know everything I do is not amazing, but it allows me to hear it and be like, you know what, that could be better. Be honest about it, and that's what honesty allows you to be great,
Obviously, people gravitate towards working with you because you're proven and they like your work. How do you decide which new artists you want to work with?
Man, it's either something that inspires me so much to where I'm like, I just want to go in the studio to see what I can do with them, or I'm at a place where I've been at a place for a few years now where I charge a lot of money to write a song. You know what I mean?
I would imagine so.
And but in no other writer really, when I speak to other legendary writers that have massive hits, they weren't even charging to write songs, and they're like, wait a minute, so you get paid before you think of any words and melodies? I'm like, yeah, I'll get paid. That inspires me a lot to come up with amazing music.
When that check clears, just like the creative vibes just came out.
I'm like, I got it immediately. It's in my account. I got it. You know what I'm saying? And so that has a lot to do with it too. So
Right.
And it allows for me to weed out the people who, you're coming to me with an artist. If you really believe in that artist enough to invest the amount of money that I charge, then I know that you're gonna be willing to invest to try to make your money back. As opposed to somebody coming to me and be like, I got this amount of money, but then they don't have enough money, a budget to really push the project. And it's
Right.
kind of like, I could have saved that song for an artist that was really gonna push it and really
Right.
make some real money. Cause my fee is amazing, but then the real money is from the radio and it's from the performance royalties and the record sales and streams. And it allows me to weed out the real and the fake, and not even the fake, but the real people, because a lot of people
Serious.
will have it's like they'll have a little bit of money and they'll be like, yo, gonna get a song. I'm like, look, man, like if this is your budget, then I wouldn't advise you to spend it on me. You know what I'm saying? I would advise you to work more and save up some more money,
Right.
and really put together a budget so you
work
can
the
push
process.
my song.
Right.
Yeah, and that allows me to choose also, because most people, when I say my fee, they usually do like, they just either don't reply or they they disappear,
like, "Keep tripping."
or they be like, let's do it, and then when they do that, I'm like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
And even so, I'm gonna hear you. Even if you say, all right, I'll give you this amount of money, I still want to, even before I take your money, I need to know that I really want to even work with you, because you might suck. It might not be nothing I can do with you. So just because you can afford to hire me doesn't mean that I'll be inspired
That's
to work
real.
with you. And a lot of people just take people's money, and then when they get the product, they're like, this sucks. It's like, yeah, well, you suck. So it's almost like, what do you expect? So for me, it saves me to just be like, nah, you know what? I'm not really inspired, but my number's the same. Maybe in the future I'll be inspired.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your, if you have one, what is your favorite genre to write for?
I mean, honestly, my favorite's always gonna be R&B, man, where I started.
That makes sense.
And I feel it making a Lil Baby Soft comeback. Right? It's a Lil Baby
but
creeper.
honestly, for the last 2-3 years, I think
Right?
R&B is
Slow.
making a consistent comeback.
And you know what's doing it? The fact that every rapper is singing now.
Yeah, the
It's
line
now
is
R&B.
blurred as hell. Yeah.
So it's like, Hotline Bling, like all those
Yeah.
records, those are R&B smashes.
Yeah.
That if you take the rap artist off, you put a singer on there, it might not have worked. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, for some reason I don't know why they just stopped with R&B singers. Why it became like this like blackballing thing of
Cheap.
It is, right?
Yeah.
But rap has now turned into the new R&B.
Yeah.
Like
You're right.
the Migos are R&B singers.
to a large extent.
Yeah, it's like I haven't heard one song without them singing. I was just telling my brother, I'm like, bruh, every rapper singing, even if they don't have autotune, they're singing.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, we are now back in the R&B, but it's titled Urban.
What's funny is my favorite song so far this year. I don't know if you heard Royce's out, Royce the 5'9's out.
He's
He
amazing.
has a joint called Cocaine on there where he's
singing.
Oh my, it's an amazing song.
It's amazing, and you feel like you can sing along with it because it's not perfect.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, I can sing along with this, and I don't gotta sound like Mariah or Whitney.
Exactly.
So R&B is sneaking back through. It has snuck back in vicariously through hip hop.
Last question, man. What was the last song that you heard that you wish you had written?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, man. I'm gonna tell you though. You know what it is, man? I just been blessed, man, to be a part of those songs that I would say that I wish bro, I know that sounds weird, but I could be like, man, I wish I was a part of Despacito. I did Despacito remix,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, but those are the records that I'd be like, man, I wish I had did that. So I'm trying to think if there was like a chart, like a Billboard chart or something I could look at. I could say, oh, I wish I had wrote
Or
that.
just period?
Oh, period? Oh, man, Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone. I Believe I Can Fly. R. Kelly. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, which was AKA Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Dolly Parton, yeah.
I mean, it was. I would have to go back. And that, to be completely honest, there is one record that I wish I had wrote, God's Plan. That Drake record. I think it's an amazing song.
Wow.
Which is R&B again, you know.
Yeah.
But that is one of the records that I wish I could have been a part of, just because I just feel like it inspired me. You know what I mean? When
Definitely.
music inspires me to want to go out and be great, like, yo, that inspired me to want to go in the studio and be greater. That's, to me, that's what, like, that's the music that I would love to be a part of.
Dope. Appreciate it, man. That's a great note to stop on. I know you got to run. You got a show later on. We appreciate y'all listening, man. Please tell people where they can find you and where they can support and buy and stream your music.
Pooh Bear Presents Birthday Music can be streamed on all platforms, you know, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, and also you
Tidal.
can find me, Tidal. Yeah, you can find me on, you know, on Instagram under the name Pooh Bear, on Twitter under the name Pooh Bear, and happy birthday, man. I really appreciate you guys having me
For
today.
sure. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week with another dope show. Peace.
Peace.